In this session, we are going to implement to-do pipeline where whenever you create an issue, it will be automatically labeled as to-do. So in order to perform this task, let's create a new repository. So this is my GitHub account. From here, we can create a new repo. So here, my repo is ready. The next task is to have a YAML file, and that YAML file is actually the configuration file which have everything which is required to label a new issue as to do automatically as GitHub Action. So it should be in .github workflow folders. So here we are specifying a new file as label new issues YAML file, and it is present in .github workflow. So it's very important to follow this path, and dot is important to note. So .github workflows label new issue YAML. So now it's the time to copy the code. So this is the code for this GitHub action. You can see that first we are giving the name, that is label new issue as to do. So whenever a new issue is open, the corresponding pipeline will execute automatically. So in first part, we are defining the event and we define that issue type open. And whenever you open the new issue, this particular pipeline or jobs will execute. Since we wish that this script can make changes in the issues because we wish to label this as a to do, so we are giving the permissions to make changes in the issue by using write. So here we are explicitly granting write permission to manage the issue so that issue can be labeled as to do. Then we are defining the jobs. So this is most important part. So you see that here in first part, we are defining that it will run on Ubuntu latest. In order to assign the label as to do, we need to execute few set of statements. So these statements will execute on the server, and GitHub provide those server in the form of runners. So here we define our runner, and then we define the job which need to be executed. So these are the steps which will be executed, and you see that there are only 4 lines of code. So first of all, we are giving the label to the steps, which is simply says that labeling new issue as to do, and then we are following uses. So it means that in order to execute these job, it will use this GitHub repo. So here actions ecosystem is the name of organization, and action add label is the name of rep. It carry all the code which is required to label the issue as to do. So let's understand this in a little bit more detail. So here we are using actions ecosystem. This is the GitHub organization or a user that created and maintained this action. So we are first of all specifying the organization name who is maintaining that repo. Action add label is the name of the action repository. So this repository contain all the code and the configuration file that define the actions functionality. And at the rate version 1 is simply refers to the version 1 for this particular repository. So let's first of all understand where this repo is actually placed. In order to find this repo, I can simply copy this, and then you need to go into the marketplace. So here you can see that. So this is the marketplace. Here we can search. So you can see that this is the action ecosystem. This is the name of the organization. So this organization has a repo for add labels. Actions ecosystem has a repo with name action add label. So this is what we are using. So if you click on that, it will take you to the repo. So this repo carry all the code which is required to assign the labels to a new issue. So all the code which is mentioned in this will be automatically executed. And you see that the most important component in order to access it is GitHub token. So it requires a GitHub token to validate it. So let's now move back to our repo to see what we have. So this is our repo. Let's open this. and it has created a folder for workflows. This is our file. We can open that file. So now you can see that first of all, we are specifying that it will use action ecosystem action at label at the rate one. So I hope that now you can make a point out of that, that the code which is mentioned in the repo will execute automatically by this pipeline. And as I mentioned you, we need to validate that. So we are validating this with the GitHub tokens. So we are accessing our secrets from the GitHub token. So it will validate. So in order to make it sure that everything is fine, you can go to actions, and under action, you should able to see this particular workflow. So label new issue as to do. This is the workflow which is created automatically as action. So let's create an issue to understand it more deeply. So we are creating a new issue. I have not labeled it anything. So label as none, submitting the new issue. You can see you go to action. This test issue is an event which cause its execution. Currently it is queued. Now you can see that it has been executed. So you can see that all the processes which are mentioned in this label issue has been completed successfully. Now we can go to the issues, and you can see that this particular issue is automatically labeled as to do. So it was very simple for this case. So this is all about this session. In next session, we will discuss how we can create a testing pipeline. So, and in that, we will demonstrate that whenever a child branch is merged with the main branch, some test case will run automatically in, and if everything goes fine, then child branch will be automatically merged with. I will be discussing the demonstration of that process in the next session. I want to mention that all the code which is discussed in this video is given in the GitHub repo, and the link of that repo is given in the description of the video. So please access that. Thanks for watching this video. God bless you.